features and monumental clues Neolithic people left in the selected landscapes. Now, this is an art archaeology effort. The resulting field data will provide a fresh resource for the audiovisual practice, which in my day was simply the word art, by rooting digital material in the physical world, allowing for recontextualized studio, exhibition, and research applications. And hopefully, it will also offer some aid in archaeological observation and interpretation. Now, we turned down for funding by the AHRC initially, so the RCA stepped into the breach and gave us enough funding for a pilot study. First of all, at Carn Menin on Mynydd Preseli. And particularly, we were focused on the ridge there, Carn Menin, with the outcrops. But I've looked broader as well, and we've even gone out up to 20 miles around the Mynydd Preseli massif, if I can call it that. And it really was hit us here. There's been virtually no acoustic work there at all. And it looks fun on a photograph, but when you get up there, there are tens of thousands of rocks. And where do you start and what do you do? Fortunately, we've had archaeological consultancy, mainly from Tim Darville, who gave us a detailed tour of the archaeological sites that they've discovered there, he and Wainwright and others. And he pointed out, he said that all the work on the bluestones really goes on at Stonehenge. Very few people have bothered to really look at where they came from, what their source is, because this is the source of the bluestones. And for some reason, they took stones from here, or if you want to believe it, that glacial action moved them to Salisbury Plain, whatever. Stones from this location were prized, were considered very important. They were the first stones and the last at Stonehenge in terms of settings of stones. What made them special? Well, there's been all sorts of debate, as you will well know, about how the stones got the 150 or so miles. And very little debate, really, about why these particular stones. Well, we know the whole area was important to Neolithic peoples. There's a lot of monuments there, more than you might think. But we knew that sound might be a factor that nobody had mentioned. And we got our lead from Bernard Fagg 50-odd years ago, because he pointed out that the Preseli village of Maen Clochach means in Welsh ringing rocks. It means bellstones, if you like. And up until the 18th century, Maen Clochach had 2 rocks instead of church bells to do the ringing. So we've been up there, and all we can do, it is a pilot study. We've done just some preliminary work around, and we've done night shifts, as you see, and day shifts, and we've been recording. And what we did was to do sort of strip assays across Carn Menin to find out just what a percentage of lithophones existed there. And we built up a bit of a picture. They seem to focus mainly on the eastern end of the Carn Menin range. But that's very, very speculative at the moment, because if we get our big funding, we'll know later in the year, then we'll spend 2 years out there and we'll do a real survey. And it's just very, very time consuming. You can't fit it into a poorly resourced pilot study. But anyway, we have found quite a lot. This is a couple of examples. Top one there, very big piece of spotted dolerite. Very big piece. These are just basic field recordings. We've taken really fancy recordings still, since rather, but this one sounds like this. Use of a small hammer stone only. We've tried wood, and you get the same effect, only fainter. Not all rang like that. Some sounded like tin drums. That goes on a bit. We've had a percussionist up there. We've made some very long tracks where he actually produced music, if you like, from the rocks. And we hope to be publishing those fairly shortly. And then there's rock art has been discovered up there, and then you get to the question of intentionality. And as you see, there's sort of cut marks in this rock right on the slopes of Carn Menin, and 6 depressions on this particular rock, although you probably can only make out 3 or 4. And it's a lithophone. Then there's another aspect of the acoustics on Carn Menin and around. Carn Alw, the name means call, and it's noted for its exceptional echo characteristics, particularly this rock wall here. And we just did some preliminary tests to see if the rumours were correct, and all we did was clap our hands here, nice broad spectrum sound, just to see what the echoes were like. And I don't know if you've ever tried to record just echoes without the incident sound. It's quite difficult because the echo comes very quickly, obviously, after the incident sound. What I'll play is quite easy here. What I'll play here are just the echoes. They're not the hand claps. And talk about embodied sound. If you're there, it's not coming off the surface. It doesn't seem to be coming off the surface of the rock face. It seems to be coming from deep within the cairn. You really think there's little people in there doing the clapping back at you. And it's quite dramatic. Now, in the Welsh language, a term for echo is carrig ateb, which means rock calls, rock answers. It makes me think that this idea of echoes and rocks is very, very deeply ingrained in the Welsh psyche. It's there in the language. So we're, as I say, looking and listening. We are producing multimedia archaeology from this. We have 9 extensive field reports that are multimedia. There's one more to go, and they'll be archived at the Royal College of Art. If you want to find out more, I'll give you the website in a moment. Obviously, our journey will end here, where we look at the blue stones in situ. I'm not too hopeful because the stones are set in the ground, which we do. All lithophones require resonance space. As I said, we are looking... about to look at Avery. We've just started a couple of induction things. We'll be calling on a lot of people who've done work already at Avery, which is a whole different acoustic kettle of fish. And a lot of people have been doing work here. There's a lot of archaeology. There's a hell of a lot of ambient noise, of course. So there'll be a lot of nighttime work. And it'll be quite a challenge. But we do have some interesting acoustic phenomena that we know of that we need to explore there, and we'll be doing that. On the other hand, Carn Menin, Mynydde Preseli, nobody had done any organised acoustic work there before, so that is really pioneer country. If you want to look at some of the things we've been doing, that is the website, and there's nobody here, if I may say, shouldn't go on that website. But it is just a touch. It's the field reports that contain all the details. So, just bringing that pilot study at Preseli to an end, we're just starting one at Avebury. If we get the funding, we'll be going on for 2 or 3 years after that. But we won't know that till, I think, October, they tell us. So anyway, there you go. Thank you.